today?
Hi, Presh. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for joining me and taking time to do this testimonial with me today. Lovely to have worked with you over the last few months, of course, and been part of your journey. But today we are here to talk about the outcome of the journey and, of course, share your background, motivation, aspirations, and the outcomes that we've got together through the whole application cycle. So let me just start by asking you to first do a quick introduction, as that would help all the future aspirants and listeners to, understand your profile a whole lot better, so that they can put things in context.
So, Presh, likewise, I had a great time with you, working with you for like 2, 3 months now. Um, so, my profile is in digital marketing. I'm working as a full-time digital marketer at Google Operations Center. So, as of now, I felt like I need to brush up my expertise and increase my acumen in broader marketing aspect. So, I wanted to pursue my master's studies. So, as I was browsing through the programs and what would be the process like, I was feeling very confused all in all. I didn't know where to start. How is my profile like? What colleges or universities would be suitable for me? What programs would be the best? So I was very stuck in that sphere. Um, so I was recommend I LilacBuds was recommended to me by a friend. By a friend of friend. So I am aware how good he is. So I without any mm, without any doubt, I just picked up my
And
phone and filled the query form, and it was so quick. The next day I received a call from Karan, and he was very kind and very prompt. He gave me a lot of answers with the questions I had. He gave me a lot of clarity, and the very next day I was connected to you. It was my
okay,
first session, the demo session with you, and you were very on point. You were not uh, running around the bush. You were not trying to confuse me. You were very on point, and you did not give me any false promises. That was the moment I realized that okay, I'm ready to work with him. He is not um, giving me any false promises. That was the main thing, the best thing I liked, and you gave me a lot of confidence about my profile.
okay,
That was
cool.
one
Thank
thing.
you. Thank you so much for that vivid recollection. I don't think I had
Right.
such a vivid recollection of the first meeting the way you did. But one of my vivid recollections was, I remember after the first couple of calls, one of your family members called me and they were discussing, like, I think we were around the shortlist phase at that point, and they were like, they were, I mean, the gentleman who spoke to me, he was so sweet. He was like, I wish around the time I was applying, there was somebody as helpful as you to kind of guide me in my journey. And I'm glad that Smriti is in good hands in that sense, right?
Right.
That was my take home from that entire conversation, though. Of course, I still stuck to my guns in terms of where you should be applying and what kind of admits and applications we'll end up doing. But okay, coming to the next steps, right? Like, so of course, you chose us. Did you also speak to any other consultants, or did you just go directly with us and signed up here?
I did try to contact another consultant. Um, so it's a very big company and trying to give free advice. And I didn't really like what they were advising, and I didn't really talk to them as well. I received a few calls, but I didn't take any calls. That was it. And I didn't want to waste any of my time. So you were the very first consultant I reached out to, seriously.
Okay, cool. No, thank you for that. I mean, it's good, like, right? Like some people do look around before they submit and, before they enroll with us. But it's important, right? Like doing your due diligence, as you said, is very critical when it comes to choosing the right consultant to work with. Now, going into your application journey, right? Like if you could tell me what was your, like, starting out from shortlisting to getting your documents ready, your essays reviewed and edited. There would have been so many questions in your mind where you felt like, is this the right way? What should I be highlighting? What else can I talk about? Is this the right program? Why this university? Why not this other one? You would have had your own set of questions. So maybe just the top three, four questions that you felt where were really beneficial to helping you make your decision.
Okay, so as I was very confused with the entire journey, I didn't know where to start. So from the very first step from shortlisting, I didn't really know what a STEM program is per se. I got to know this term from you only. That was one thing. Then after shortlisting, there were a lot of calls we did for shortlisting. I was very confused till the end, but when we finalized, then we started working on SOP. And I remember I was very underconfident about my profile and the work I have done. There, you gave me confidence that my profile is good, and you just need to present it in a way that the person who's reading would like it. So that is one thing I will take, not just in this thing, but in future as well. I have learned how to present uh, my profile, or the things I have done in such a way that it presents the impact I've made.
Yes, that's right. And that's very important, right? Because from your CV, the way you talk about the work that you've done and the impact you've left on your client in terms of, all the digital marketing stuff that you've helped them with, it's very critical to express that in a way that would stick with the reader. Right. So now
Right.
coming to that point, I think one thing that we forgot to mention right in the beginning is you were applying for a master's in marketing program where a lot of the programs are non-STEM in the US, and the non-STEM angle meant that you cannot stay back for more than a year after your graduation. But if it's a STEM program, then you can stay back for 3 years
Yes.
in the US, get some more work experience, and probably stay back even longer post that, because STEM experience gives you more opportunities to work with different companies who are willing to, kind of later on go and sponsor your H-1B visa and whatnot, right? And
Right.
along with that, so you picked US and Canada. So let's talk about your applications, admits and rejects now. So why don't you just give a quick overview of all the places we eventually applied to and where you got in?
Okay, so there was one more thing, that I was not wanting to apply to universities where GMAT or GRE was required. Uh,
Yes, yes, I remember.
so we shortlisted 5 programs where it was not required, and one is Purdue University, one is University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, um, one was University of Texas Dallas, and there was one more in US, which was Drexel, and the fifth one was in Canada, which is Schulich School of Business. So all the programs were management and marketing based. I have received admits from 4 of them as of now, from UIUC, from University of Texas, from Drexel and Schulich. Purdue, I am still awaiting. I had an interview with them. And with that interview, also, you helped a lot. We had 2, 3 mock interviews, and you helped me with the answers and the questions, the possible questions they might ask. So that was really helpful as well. So if I didn't have this help, I would not know how to approach that meeting.
Yeah, I think the mock practice was really crucial for sharpening the way you present again, right? It goes back to written communication and verbal communication, and we need to make sure both are in place. But yeah, I mean, the first admit to come in, I think, was Schulich, if I recollect. Oh no, UT Dallas was the first one to come in, right?
Yes,
And
UT Dallas
and
was first.
UT Dallas was the first one to come in, and then we said, let's wait and watch. And then you had Schulich and Drexel, and then finally UIUC.
UIUC.
Now, I know that you are leaning more towards Schulich at this point, and of course, because you've got family also there, so that's an important element of the selection. But like, I remember having all these discussions at the end with you also about why pick a certain university, what's the location, because having four admits is also confusion, right? For
Right.
people who have one or two admits, they know, like, this is my dream or reach and I really want to go here. But you had the selection decision to also make in terms of where should I eventually go and why. and what makes more sense, right? And despite
Right.
having STEM programs and everything else, and of course the financial aspects, right? Like
Right.
the scholarship element, right? And you did get scholarships, I think at Drexel
Yes.
you have scholarship.
Yes, I got a good scholarship from Drexel.
Yes, and you have an excellent scholarship at Drexel. Drexel has a co-op program. It's cheaper, but the decision of the location, Toronto versus Philadelphia, that was an important factor as well in making that choice. So not just look at the financial elements of the admit, but also look at the prospective career elements post graduation that is critical for your decision making. So
Right.
with that, right, I think coming to the essays, coming to the, you mentioned about the interviews, but the essays and the, the SOPs, we went through multiple drafts. Like what is the importance again for you to have worked with us in that process, right? Like, had you done it yourself versus a lot of students who work with us think that, the SOP is something I can do by myself. Maybe with Chat GPT now it's become a little easier also for some people. What's the advantage of working with a consultant?
The advantage would be that you already know how they judge a SOP or how they would shortlist the people. So that perspective was needed for me, where I could actually structure my work and my profile in a way that universities would see that okay, this person would be suitable for our program and would actually contribute uh, in a better way. So that was really necessary. Uh, had I done it by myself, I think I would have used Chat GPT a lot more. So one thing you told me, say no to Chat GPT. You will not use Chat GPT, and you asked me to repeat it as well.
Mm.
So yes, I'm not sure if I had no guidance, how would I write it? Because I didn't have any experience regarding this. It was my very first step in applying to universities abroad, and things in India are quite different. So there's something, there was help needed for me.
Correct. Okay. And I mean, I think in the whole process, I feel you have evolved from somebody who was not very sure about decision making, I think, to somebody who's, when we did the final mocks, the way you were able to express yourself. I feel that, I mean, I personally felt that, there was significant evolution. There are certain applicants who work with us where the transition was not as stark. But for you, I felt that there was, there are a couple of other candidates who, where we feel, when they started off was with so much lack of clarity that they had at the point when they started versus now having so much more confidence and being sure about the decisions that they've made, being sure about the process of even when you land up in a new country, being able to do things that would leave an impression, both not just in the college, but maybe even with a future employer. You already have worked with the Google Operations Center and have been part of their team. So you already know what it looks like to work in a larger organization. But what would be the key elements of, you know, developing? Like if you were to leave a tip for somebody who is now going to start this process, somebody who's unsure, somebody who's as tentative as you were, what would be your like main like let's say a main message for them or a tip for them so that they could do what you have done?
Oh, okay. So a lot of people are very unsure about consultants because there are a lot of frauds going around. Uh, so there's one thing that a person who's looking for guidance would be, don't look for someone who will just help you with the application process or who will handhold you completely. You need guidance. You would need someone to push you, and if you find someone who gives you the correct guidance, it would not be just for that a moment where you need an admission, but you'll also learn a lot of things which you'll take in future. Like I have learned a lot of things from you that I will actually implement throughout my life. So that's something which I would give advice to
Thank
the
you. Thank you so
people.
much. I think that is very valuable advice, Smriti. It was lovely working with you again, very engaging, and I'm happy that I contributed to that growth phase as well. But it's lovely to have actually worked with you. Always a pleasure to have, every meeting that we probably had, there would be thoughts, right? Like even in my mind as a consultant, like did I encourage her enough to actually take the step, because procrastination, taking time, taking top of deadlines, it's a push from our end, but also the other end, it goes both ways. You also need to contribute
Right.
back. And that's what
That is true.
that's something you did alongside with us. So thank you once again. And once again, thank you for the testimonial. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too have a great evening.